Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in. Look, if you've ever felt like industrial maintenance is just this endless, exhausting cycle of firefighting, literally running from one broken machine to the next, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're going to dig into the data and the strategies that can take your maintenance program from a totally chaotic scramble and turn it into a strategic, goal-driven powerhouse. We're going to unpack the actual mechanics of weekly maintenance scheduling. And as we do, you're going to see exactly how it dictates the productivity and honestly, the entire culture of a plant. Okay, let's kick things off with Principle 2, schedules and job priorities are important and management balances them. Now I can practically hear you thinking, well, obviously, that's Maintenance 101, right? But the source material highlights something really critical here. While it might seem completely unnecessary to even state this out loud, you just can't take these elements for granted. Actually, overlooking this seemingly simple principle is one of the single most common failure points in maintenance management. Without a firm, disciplined grasp on schedules and priorities, the whole shebang just falls apart. All right, let's move to part 1, the virtuous cycle, goal setting, and liberation. When a plant actually nails advanced scheduling, it sets off this incredible virtuous cycle. There's a great quote for this. This weekly goal both focuses and liberates the crew supervisors. Think about a supervisor's typical day. Usually, they're just buried under this massive, bottomless backlog of work orders, right? But locking in a schedule for an entire week in advance, that sets clear, achievable goals to maximize those available craft hours. It ensures the right amount of the right work is assigned. And the best part? It frees the crew supervisor to focus only on the current week. They don't have to stress about the overall backlog or prep for work that isn't even scheduled yet. Because they're suddenly focused on a manageable subset of tasks, they are literally liberated to be out in the field with their technicians, actually leading their teams instead of drowning in office paperwork. This is a massive cultural shift. The old culture of maintenance is so often just about keeping busy or trying to keep operations happy by using the backlog as mere fill-in work. It's a totally reactive mindset. But this new culture, the one driven by disciplined weekly scheduling, it gives teams a highly specific objective: complete a finite amount of planned work. This proactive approach focuses the supervisors on the vital work that, at the end of the day, keeps operators from having to make emergency demands in the first place. You're out there fixing things before they even have the chance to become a crisis. Which brings us to part 2, the hidden toll of interruptions. As you can probably guess, this virtuous cycle is incredibly fragile. The biggest threat to it? Interruptions. It's so easy to think of a schedule interruption as just hitting the pause button, right? Like pausing a TV show. But in reality, it's a massive physical drain. When a low-priority job is interrupted, it's never a clean break. The technicians have to physically pack up and put away their tools. They have to spend time securing the job site so it's safe to leave unattended. And then, whether it's hours or days later, they have to come back and spend time refamiliarizing themselves with that exact same job. Every single interruption injects a huge amount of extra time and wasted motion into the original task. So we have to establish a strict operational rule. We absolutely must separate the urgent from the emergency. The source text is crystal clear on this. If a true, literal emergency arises, yes, it is always appropriate to delay another job. You stop and you fix it. But, and this is a big but, an urgent job that is not a true emergency should simply become the next job in line, rather than interrupting a job that's currently in progress. And a non-urgent job? That should just wait until the next day, or honestly, the next week entirely. Doing this lets the new job get scheduled according to its true importance, and it gives planners the time to stage the parts and tools so it can be executed efficiently. Let's look at part 3, the vicious cycle, or the false priority trap. What happens when everyone claims their job is an emergency? Well, organizational discipline totally breaks down, and you get a cascading failure. When priorities are falsely inflated, the consequences are brutal. First, it improperly interrupts ongoing work, triggering all those hidden tolls we just talked about. Second, it forces teams to start working without proper preparation. Because of all this chaos, the bottom line is the maintenance group completes significantly less work overall. And the absolute worst part, when every single job has a red flashing light on it, you can't recognize the real emergencies anymore, meaning you end up delaying the actual high-priority jobs. It creates this incredibly frustrating paradox. Higher priority work must interrupt lower priority work because there just isn't enough productivity to complete all the work plus the interruptions. Think about that for a second. Because the organization lacks the discipline to set real priorities initially, productivity completely plummets. And because productivity is now so low from constantly starting and stopping, they can't finish their baseline work, which means they are forced to interrupt even more jobs just to try and handle the backlog. It's an absolute self-fulfilling prophecy of inefficiency. And the damage doesn't stop there. Moving to part 4, logistical fallout and the staging dilemma. This lack of scheduling discipline cascades straight down into a logistical nightmare. Just to make sure we're on the same page, let's look at the ideal state first. Staging is a process where planners anticipate a job and prep for it in advance. They pull the planned parts and tools from inventory and have them completely ready to go before the job even starts. This is a massive boost to crew productivity because the technicians aren't wasting time hunting down parts or standing in line at the storeroom. But here's the catch. Staging requires confidence. With high confidence scheduling, parts are staged, the crew knocks out the job on time, and materials are used efficiently. It's beautiful. But if that priority system is broken and crews are constantly getting pulled off jobs, planners lose confidence that the scheduled jobs will actually happen. If planners just give up and stop staging parts, productivity tanks. But if they keep pulling parts for jobs that constantly get bumped, the physical staging area just overflows with materials for jobs that never start. Meanwhile, the storeroom might suffer actual stockouts, meaning they completely run out of parts for other essential jobs, all because those parts are sitting unused on a staging shelf. The whole system literally cannibalizes itself. Let's look at a better way in part 5, building the operations partnership. It really doesn't have to be a nightmare, though. The ultimate goal of the weekly schedule is to act as the bedrock for coordination. When management steps up and enforces the priority system, operators and maintenance personnel can actually sit down together and use that weekly schedule to coordinate their mutual needs in advance. Having this shared, reliable schedule profoundly changes the dynamic. It helps these two forces work together as true partners, instead of constantly butting heads or existing in a state of mutual frustration. I want to leave you with one final thought today. The source material makes a really compelling point. The actual mechanics of scheduling, they're pretty simple. But the organizational discipline required to stick to them, that is incredibly hard. Management's commitment is the absolute key to all of this. So take a hard look at your own workflows. Are you enforcing true priorities, liberating your supervisors, and building real partnerships through disciplined, goal-oriented weekly schedules? Or are you trapped in a vicious cycle where everything is an emergency, and as a result, nothing truly gets done? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helps you take a fresh, strategic look at your own systems.